1. The disappearing campers. A group of friends ventures into the woods for a camping trip. As night falls, they hear eerie noises surrounding their campsite. One by one, the campers start disappearing without a trace, leaving the survivors to uncover the dark secrets hidden in the forest. 2. The haunted asylum. A team of paranormal investigators decides to explore an abandoned asylum rumored to be haunted. As they delve deeper into the building's dark history, they encounter terrifying apparitions and malevolent entities, forcing them to confront the asylum's deadly past. 3. The Devil's Road. A couple decides to take a road trip along a desolate highway known as the Devil's Road. As they travel through remote landscapes, they experience inexplicable phenomena, including encounters with ghostly hitchhikers and strange creatures lurking in the shadows. 4. The Curse of the Doll. A family inherits an antique doll with a sinister reputation. Soon after bringing it into their home, they experience a series of disturbing events, including the doll moving on its own and whispering menacing messages in the dead of night. 5. The Ghost Ship. A group of sailors embarks on a voyage across the sea, only to stumble upon an abandoned ship drifting aimlessly in the water. As they board the vessel, they uncover the haunting truth behind its crew's mysterious disappearance and the malevolent force that still roams its decks. 6. The Phantom Hitchhiker. A driver encounters a hitchhiker on a lonely stretch of road. Despite offering assistance, the hitchhiker vanishes without a trace, leaving the driver haunted by visions of the mysterious passenger and the dark secrets they carry. 7. The House on Willow Street. A family moves into a quaint house on Willow Street, unaware of its tragic history. Strange occurrences plague their new home, including disembodied voices, shadowy figures, and unexplained footsteps echoing through the halls. 8. The Ghostly Bride. A bride-to-be prepares for her wedding day in an old mansion rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a jilted lover. As she gets ready, she catches glimpses of the ghostly bride roaming the halls, desperate to exact revenge on anyone who crosses her path. 9. The Cabin in the Woods. A group of friends rents a remote cabin for a weekend getaway. As they settle in for the night, they are terrorized by unseen forces lurking in the surrounding woods, forcing them to confront their deepest fears and fight for survival. 10. The Mysterious Cult. A journalist investigates reports of a secretive cult operating in a small town. As she delves deeper into the cult's rituals and beliefs, she uncovers a sinister plot that threatens to consume the entire community in darkness and despair. 11. The Abandoned Hospital. A group of urban explorers ventures into an abandoned hospital with a dark past. As they navigate the crumbling corridors and dilapidated rooms, they encounter the restless spirits of former patients and uncover the sinister experiments conducted within the hospital's walls. 12. The Curse of the Mirror. A family inherits a cursed mirror with a chilling history. Those who gaze into its reflection are plagued by terrifying visions and supernatural occurrences, leading them to unravel the mirror's mysterious origins and the malevolent entity trapped within. 13. The Vanishing Town. A traveler stumbles upon a seemingly deserted town in the middle of nowhere. As they explore its empty streets and abandoned buildings, they uncover clues hinting at the town's tragic fate and the sinister forces that drove its residents to disappear without a trace. 14. The Haunted School. A group of students stays overnight in their school as part of a dare. As they explore the empty halls and classrooms, they encounter the vengeful spirit of a former teacher and uncover the dark secrets hidden within the school's walls. 15. The phantom train. Passengers aboard a late-night train witness strange occurrences and encounter ghostly apparitions during their journey. As they travel through the night, they realize they are not alone on the train and must confront the spectral presence haunting its carriages. 16. The cabin in the mountains. A family retreats to a remote cabin in the mountains for a peaceful vacation. However, their idyllic getaway turns into a nightmare when they become the target of a deranged serial killer lurking in the wilderness, forcing them to fight for survival against impossible odds. 17. The ghostly lighthouse. A group of lighthouse keepers stationed on a remote island begins to experience supernatural phenomena, including mysterious disappearances and unexplained noises echoing from the depths of the sea. As they investigate the source of the disturbances, they uncover a dark secret hidden within the lighthouse's beacon. 18. The cursed painting. An art collector acquires a cursed painting with a sinister reputation. As the painting's malevolent influence spreads, those who come into contact with it are plagued by hallucinations and nightmares, driving them to the brink of madness. 19. The forgotten cemetery. A group of friends discovers a forgotten cemetery hidden deep in the woods. As they explore its overgrown graves and weathered tombstones, they awaken vengeful spirits seeking retribution for sins long forgotten, forcing them to confront the horrors of the past. 20. The demon. Summoning. A group of amateur occultists attempts to summon a demon for a thrill-seeking ritual. However, their reckless actions unleash a malevolent force beyond their control, leading to a night of terror and bloodshed as they struggle to contain the ancient evil they have unleashed. 21. The Witch's Woods. A group of hikers ventures into a dense forest rumored to be inhabited by a vengeful witch. As they navigate the treacherous terrain, they encounter strange symbols carved into trees and unsettling whispers in the wind, leading them to question whether the witch's curse is real. 22. The abandoned mine. A team of explorers descends into an abandoned mine shaft in search of hidden treasure. As they delve deeper into the darkness, they uncover the mine's tragic history and encounter the restless spirits of miners who perished in a catastrophic accident, trapped in a never-ending cycle of torment. 23. The Curse of the Amulet. A traveler acquires an ancient amulet from a mysterious shopkeeper, unaware of its dark powers. As they wear the amulet, they experience vivid nightmares and disturbing visions, realizing too late that they have become the target of a malevolent entity seeking to claim their soul. 24. The Ghost. Shipwreck. A group of divers explores a sunken shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean, only to encounter the restless spirits of sailors who met their demise in the depths. As they uncover the ship's tragic past, they become ensnared in a terrifying battle between the living and the dead. 25. The Haunted Forest Cabin. A family rents a secluded cabin in the woods for a weekend getaway, unaware of its haunted history. As they settle in for the night, they are tormented by poltergeist activity and spectral apparitions, trapped in a remote location with no means of escape. 26. The Possessed Dollhouse. A child receives a dollhouse as a birthday gift, unaware that it harbors a dark secret. As they play with the dollhouse, they witness inexplicable phenomena and encounter the malevolent spirits of its previous owners, trapped in a miniature world of terror. 27. The Ghostly Railroad Crossing. Drivers passing through a remote railroad crossing report sightings of a ghostly train that appears out of nowhere, causing accidents and claiming the lives of those who dare to cross its path. As investigators delve into the crossing's history, they uncover a tragic accident that haunts the area to this day. 28. The Haunted Hotel Room. A guest checks into a hotel room with a reputation for being haunted, seeking thrills and excitement. As they spend the night alone in the room, they experience terrifying encounters with the ghostly apparition of a woman who met her untimely demise within its walls, unable to escape her vengeful spirit's wrath. 29. The Abandoned Mental Asylum. A group of friends explores an abandoned mental asylum rumored to be haunted by the tormented souls of former patients. As they venture deeper into the asylum's decaying halls, they encounter disturbing remnants of its dark past and are confronted by the chilling presence of the asylum's most malevolent spirits. 30. The Curse of the Old Book. A bibliophile discovers an old book hidden away in a dusty attic, its pages filled with arcane symbols and forbidden knowledge. As they delve into the book's secrets, they unwittingly unleash a powerful curse that threatens to consume them and everyone they hold dear, plunging them into a nightmarish struggle for survival against forces beyond their comprehension. 31. The Haunted Theater. A group of actors rehearses for a play in an old theater rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a former performer. As they delve into the production, they experience unexplained phenomena on stage and encounter the ghostly presence of the theater's tragic past. 32. The Curse of the Cursed Object. A collector acquires a cursed object with a dark history, unaware of the malevolent force it harbors. As they display the object in their home, they are plagued by misfortune and supernatural occurrences, leading them on a desperate quest to break the curse before it consumes them completely. 33. The Ghostly Hitchhiker. Revisited. A driver encounters a ghostly hitchhiker on a deserted road, offering them a ride home. As they engage in conversation, they realize the hitchhiker is not what they seem and must confront the chilling truth behind their spectral appearance. 34. The Abandoned Orphanage. A group of paranormal investigators explores an abandoned orphanage, rumored to be haunted by the restless spirits of its former inhabitants. As they conduct their investigation, they uncover the orphanage's dark history and encounter the vengeful ghosts of children who perished within its walls. 35. The Haunted Doll Factory. A toy manufacturer reopens an abandoned doll factory, hoping to revive its once thriving business. However, as production begins, workers report strange occurrences and encounters with ghostly apparitions, leading them to uncover the factory's tragic past and the malevolent spirits that still roam its corridors. 36. The Phantom Stalker. A woman is stalked by a mysterious figure that appears in her photographs, lurking in the background of each image. As she investigates further, she uncovers a sinister connection between the figure and her own past, leading to a terrifying confrontation with the unknown. 37. The Ghostly Whispers. A family moves into a historic mansion, plagued by whispers and disembodied voices echoing through its halls. As they settle into their new home, they uncover the mansion's dark secrets and the tragic events that unfolded within its walls, leading to a chilling confrontation with the restless spirits that still linger. 38. The Haunted Painting. An artist creates a masterpiece that becomes possessed by a malevolent spirit, unleashing terror upon anyone who gazes upon it. As the painting's influence spreads, those who come into contact with it are consumed by madness and despair, leading to a desperate struggle to destroy the cursed artwork before it claims more victims. 39. The Phantom Phone. Calls. A woman receives mysterious phone calls from a deceased loved one, speaking to her from beyond the grave. As the calls become more frequent, she begins to question her sanity and must confront the chilling truth behind the phantom voice on the other end of the line. 40. The Curse of the Ghost Town. A group of travelers stumbles upon an abandoned town frozen in time, its streets empty and buildings crumbling. As they explore its desolate streets, they uncover the town's tragic history and the curse that has doomed its inhabitants to wander its ghostly streets for all eternity. 41. The Haunted Mansion. A family inherits a grand mansion with a dark past, unaware of the horrors that lurk within its walls. As they settle into their new home, they encounter ghostly apparitions, sinister whispers, and unexplained phenomena that threaten to drive them to the brink of madness. 42. The Curse of the Ancient Relic. Archaeologists unearth an ancient relic from a long-forgotten civilization, unleashing a curse that spreads like wildfire. As they struggle to contain the curse's deadly effects, they must race against time to find a way to reverse its dark magic before it consumes them all. 43. The Ghostly Road. Trip, a group of friends, embarks on a road trip across the country, seeking adventure and excitement. However, as they travel through remote landscapes and deserted highways, they encounter ghostly hitchhikers, haunted rest stops, and otherworldly entities that threaten to derail their journey in terrifying ways. 44. The Abandoned Theme Park. Urban explorers venture into an abandoned theme park overrun by nature and decay. As they navigate its crumbling attractions and forgotten rides, they encounter the restless spirits of former patrons and uncover the tragic events that led to the park's demise. 45. The Phantom Forest. Hikers get lost in a dense forest shrouded in mystery and darkness. As they struggle to find their way out, they encounter supernatural phenomena, cryptic symbols carved into trees, and sinister forces that seem intent on keeping them trapped within the forest's haunted depths. 46. The Haunted Farmhouse. A family moves into a remote farmhouse to escape the hustle and bustle of city life, only to discover that their new home is haunted by the spirits of its former inhabitants. As they uncover the farmhouse's dark history, they must confront the vengeful ghosts that lurk within its walls. 47. The Possession. A young woman becomes possessed by a malevolent entity after experimenting with a Ouija board. As the entity takes control of her mind and body, she must fight to reclaim her soul from the darkness that threatens to consume her completely. 48. The Ghostly Shipwreck. Divers explore a sunken shipwreck off the coast, unaware of the sinister forces that lie in wait beneath the waves. As they uncover the ship's tragic past and the restless spirits of its crew, they must confront the horrors of the deep and the ancient evil that lurks within. 1. The Haunted Mirror. In a quaint old house nestled in a quiet town, there was a mirror that had been passed down through generations. Legend had it that the mirror was cursed, reflecting not just your image, but your deepest fears and regrets. One night, a young woman stayed over at the house, intrigued by the stories she'd heard. As she gazed into the mirror, she saw a distorted version of herself, twisted and grotesque. The next morning, she was found dead in front of the mirror, her expression frozen in terror. Since then, the mirror was never hung again, but those who dared to look into it claimed to see glimpses of the young woman's tortured soul. 2. The Vanishing Village. Deep in the woods, there was a small village that appeared on no maps. It was said that the villagers made a pact with a malevolent spirit, trading their souls for prosperity. One moonless night, a group of hikers stumbled upon the village despite warnings to avoid the area. The village seemed normal at first, but as they explored, they noticed strange symbols etched into the trees and houses. Suddenly, they heard a chilling voice whispering their names, and one by one, they began to vanish into thin air. Only one hiker made it out alive, but he was never the same, haunted by the memory of his friends' disappearances and the sinister laughter that echoed through the woods. 3. The shadow in the attic. A family moved into a new house, eager to start fresh after a string of misfortunes. Everything seemed fine at first, but strange things started happening soon after they settled in. Objects would move on their own, and they heard unsettling whispers in the dead of night. The eldest daughter claimed to have seen a shadowy figure lurking in the attic, but her parents dismissed it as her imagination. One night, the family woke up to find the daughter missing, her bedroom window wide open. They searched the house frantically, but she was nowhere to be found. Years later, the house stood abandoned, but locals swore they could still hear the girl's cries echoing through the attic, pleading for help from the shadow that had claimed her. 4. The Dollmaker's Curse. In a secluded village, there lived a reclusive dollmaker known for his lifelike creations. It was whispered that he infused pieces of his soul into each doll, granting them a sinister sentience. One day, a curious traveler stumbled upon the dollmaker's workshop and was enchanted by the doll's beauty. Ignoring the warnings of the villagers, the traveler bought one of the dolls and took it home. But as soon as the doll entered the house, strange occurrences began to plague the traveler's life. Objects moved on their own, whispers echoed through the halls, and the doll's glass eyes seemed to follow their every move. Desperate to rid themselves of the cursed doll, the traveler returned to the village, only to find the dollmaker's workshop empty, with no trace of the sinister craftsman or his creations. 5. The Abandoned Asylum. Deep in the woods, there stood an abandoned asylum shrouded in mystery and darkness. It was said that the asylum housed the most dangerous patients, subjected to cruel experiments in the name of science. Brave urban explorers ventured into the decaying building, their footsteps echoing through empty corridors lined with rusted beds and shattered windows. But as they delved deeper into the asylum's secrets, they felt an oppressive presence lurking in the shadows. Some claimed to have seen ghostly figures wandering the halls, their tortured cries echoing through the night. Those who dared to spend the night in the asylum never returned, their fates forever intertwined with the haunted walls that held their darkest secrets. 6. The Phantom Hitchhiker. On a desolate stretch of highway, there lurked a phantom hitchhiker who preyed on unsuspecting travelers. Legend had it that the hitchhiker was a ghost doomed to wander the road in search of a ride home. Those who picked up the hitchhiker were met with silence, the figure disappearing without a trace as they reached their destination. But those who ignored the hitchhiker's outstretched hand faced a fate far worse, their rear-view mirrors reflecting the ghostly figure sitting in the back seat, their icy touch sending shivers down their spine. To this day, drivers still report sightings of the phantom hitchhiker, a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurk in the darkness. 7. The Cursed Painting. In an old mansion, there hung a cursed painting that had been passed down through generations. The painting depicted a serene landscape, but those who gazed upon it felt a sense of unease wash over them. It was said that the painting held the souls of those who had perished in the mansion, their anguished faces hidden beneath layers of paint. One night, a curious guest decided to spend the night in the mansion, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they stared into the painting, they felt a cold hand wrap around their throat, pulling them into the canvas and trapping them in a world of eternal torment. Since then, the painting was sealed away, its cursed whispers echoing through the halls as a warning to those who dared to uncover its dark past. 8. The Phantom Train. Along an abandoned railway track, there roamed a phantom train that defied explanation. Locals claimed to have heard the distant sound of a whistle echoing through the night, followed by the rumble of wheels on the tracks. But when they went to investigate, there was no sign of the train, only the eerie silence of the deserted railway. Some said the phantom train was a relic from a bygone era, doomed to wander the tracks for eternity, its passengers trapped in a never-ending journey to the afterlife. Others believed it was a harbinger of doom, foretelling tragedy for those who crossed its path. But one thing was certain: the phantom train remained a haunting mystery, its ghostly presence a reminder of the horrors that lurk in the darkness. 9. The Haunted Theater. In the heart of the city, there stood a grand theater that had been abandoned for decades. It was said that the theater was cursed, haunted by the spirits of performers who had met tragic ends on its stage. Brave urban explorers ventured into the dilapidated building, their footsteps echoing through empty corridors lined with dusty costumes and forgotten props. But as they reached the stage, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Some claimed to have heard the sound of applause echoing through the theater, while others felt a ghostly presence brush against their skin. Those who spent the night in the theater spoke of strange visions and unsettling dreams, as if the spirits of the past were reaching out to them from beyond the grave. To this day, the haunted theater remains a forbidden place, its ghostly inhabitants waiting for unsuspecting visitors to cross the threshold into their world of eternal darkness. 10. The Sinister Board. Game. In a dusty attic, there lay a forgotten board game with a dark secret. It was said that the game was cursed, its ancient runes holding the power to summon malevolent spirits from the depths of the underworld. Eager to uncover its mysteries, a group of friends gathered to play the game, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. As they moved their pieces across the board, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Shadows danced across the walls, and the sound of whispers filled the room, growing louder with each passing moment. Suddenly, the game pieces moved on their own, spelling out cryptic messages and warning of impending doom. Terrified, the friends tried to flee, but the attic door slammed shut, trapping them in a nightmare of their own making. Only one of them escaped with their sanity intact, but the memory of that fateful night haunted them for the rest of their days, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk within the shadows. 11. The Phantom Caller. Late one stormy night, a woman received a series of mysterious phone calls from an unknown number. Each time she answered, all she heard was static and faint whispers, sending shivers down her spine. Thinking it was just a prank, she tried to ignore the calls, but they persisted, growing more frequent as the night wore on. Desperate for answers, she traced the number to an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. As she approached, the calls stopped, and an eerie silence fell over the neighborhood. With a sense of foreboding, she stepped inside the house, only to discover that it was empty, save for an old rotary phone lying on the floor. Just as she was about to leave, the phone rang one last time, and a chilling voice whispered her name from the other end before the line went dead. 12. The Doll in the Attic. A young girl discovered an old porcelain doll hidden away in the attic of her family's new house. Intrigued by its lifelike appearance, she decided to keep it as her own. But from the moment she brought the doll into her room, strange things started happening. Objects would go missing, only to reappear in unexpected places, and she began having vivid nightmares of the doll coming to life and watching her sleep. Terrified, she tried to get rid of the doll, but it always found its way back to her, its glassy eyes following her every move. As the nightmares grew more intense, the girl realized that the doll was possessed by the vengeful spirit of its previous owner, who would stop at nothing to claim her soul as its own. 13. The Whispering Woods. Deep in the heart of the forest, there lay a grove of trees where the wind whispered secrets known only to the shadows. Legend had it that those who entered the grove would be driven mad by the incessant whispers, their minds consumed by thoughts of darkness and despair. Despite the warnings, a group of curious hikers ventured into the woods, eager to uncover the truth behind the whispers. But as they wandered deeper into the grove, they felt a sense of unease wash over them, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The whispers grew louder, their voices echoing through the trees, filling the air with a sense of dread. One by one, the hikers succumbed to the madness, their screams swallowed by the darkness as they disappeared into the depths of the whispering woods, never to be seen again. 14. The Haunted Library. In a forgotten corner of the city, there stood an ancient library that held more than just books within its walls. It was said that the library was haunted by the spirits of those who had perished within its labyrinthine corridors, their restless souls trapped between the pages of forgotten tomes. Curious visitors reported strange phenomena, from flickering lights to ghostly apparitions that vanished as quickly as they appeared. But the true horror lay hidden in the library's darkest depths, where forbidden texts whispered forbidden knowledge to those brave enough to seek them out. Those who dared to delve too deep risked losing their minds to the darkness, their souls consumed by the malevolent forces that lurked within the shadows. 15. The Mirror Lake. High in the mountains there lay a serene lake whose waters held a dark secret. Legend had it that the lake was a portal to another world, where the reflections of those who gazed into its depths were twisted into grotesque caricatures of themselves. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of adventurers set out to explore the lake, their reflections staring back at them with empty eyes. But as they approached the water's edge, they felt a strange pull drawing them closer, as if the lake itself was alive and hungry for their souls. One by one, they were dragged beneath the surface, their screams swallowed by the murky depths as they became trapped in a watery purgatory for all eternity. 16. The Wailing Woman. On stormy nights, the sound of wailing could be heard echoing through the abandoned cemetery on the outskirts of town. Locals whispered of a ghostly woman who wandered the graves, mourning for her lost love who had perished at sea. Those who dared to venture into the cemetery claimed to have seen her ghostly figure kneeling beside a weathered tombstone, her cries piercing the night air. Some said she was cursed to wander the earth until she found her lost love's soul, while others believed she was a harbinger of death, foretelling tragedy for those who crossed her path. But one thing was certain. The Wailing Woman remained a haunting presence in the cemetery, her mournful cries a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and love. 17. The Haunted Carnival. Every year, a traveling carnival would come to town, its colorful tents and bright lights beckoning to thrill-seekers from near and far. But behind the facade of laughter and fun lurked a darkness that few dared to acknowledge. It was said that the carnival was haunted by the spirits of performers who had met untimely ends on its stages, their restless souls trapped within the confines of the big top. Visitors reported feeling a sense of unease as they wandered through the carnival, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Strange occurrences were commonplace, from ghostly apparitions to sinister whispers that seemed to follow them wherever they went. Those who spent the night in the carnival claimed to have seen the spirits of the performers dancing beneath the moonlight, their laughter mingling with the sound of carnival music as they relived their final moments again and again. 18. The Shadow in the Well. In a forgotten village, there lay an old well whose depths held a darkness that few dared to explore. It was said that the well was cursed, its waters tainted by the blood of those who had perished within its depths. Locals whispered of a shadowy figure that lurked at the bottom of the well, waiting to drag unsuspecting victims into its murky depths. Despite the warnings, a group of curious children decided to investigate the well, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they peered over the edge, they felt a chill in the air, as if something sinister was watching them from below. Suddenly, a shadowy hand reached out from the depths, grabbing hold of one of the children and pulling them into the darkness. The others fled in terror, their screams echoing through the village as they ran for their lives, haunted by the memory of the shadow in the well. 19. The Phantom Ship. Along the rocky coastline there sailed a ghostly ship that appeared only on foggy nights, its tattered sails billowing in the wind as it glided silently through the mist. Legend had it that the ship was crewed by the souls of sailors who had perished at sea, their restless spirits doomed to wander the oceans for all eternity. Those who caught sight of the phantom ship reported feeling a sense of dread wash over them, as if the very air around them grew colder with each passing moment. Some claimed to have heard the mournful cries of the sailors carried on the wind, while others spoke of ghostly figures standing on the deck, their hollow eyes staring out into the darkness. But one thing was certain. The phantom ship remained a haunting reminder of the dangers that lure 20. The Forbidden Forest. Deep in the heart of the forest, there lay a clearing where no sunlight could penetrate, shrouded in darkness even on the brightest of days. It was said that the clearing was cursed, its twisted trees whispering of ancient evils that lurked within. Despite the warnings, a group of adventurers ventured into the forest, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they entered the clearing, they felt a sense of dread wash over them, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Shadows danced among the trees, and the air grew thick with the stench of decay. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet gave way, and they tumbled into a hidden cavern, where they discovered the remains of those who had dared to enter before them, their bones picked clean by creatures that dwelled in the darkness. 21. The Haunted Hotel. In a sleepy town, there stood an old hotel that had been abandoned for decades. It was said that the hotel was haunted by the spirits of those who had met tragic ends within its walls. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of paranormal investigators set out to explore the hotel, armed with cameras and EVP recorders. But as they ventured deeper into the building, they encountered strange phenomena, from flickering lights to disembodied voices that whispered of unspeakable horrors. Some claimed to have seen ghostly figures roaming the halls, while others felt a sense of unease, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. As the investigators delved deeper into the hotel's dark past, they uncovered a series of gruesome murders that had been covered up by the townsfolk, their restless spirits seeking vengeance on those who had wronged them. 22. The Haunted Dollhouse. In a dusty attic, there lay a dollhouse that had been passed down through generations. It was said that the dollhouse was cursed, its miniature inhabitants coming to life after dark to wreak havoc on those who dared to enter. Ignoring the warnings, a young girl began playing with the dollhouse, unaware of the danger that lurked within its walls. But as night fell, she heard strange noises coming from the attic, as if tiny footsteps were moving across the floorboards. Terrified, she tried to flee, but the door slammed shut, trapping her inside with the malevolent spirits that inhabited the dollhouse. Desperate to escape, she searched for a way out, but the dolls seemed to be watching her every move, their glassy eyes filled with malice. In the end, she was forced to confront the dark power that held her captive, her screams echoing through the attic as she became just another victim of the haunted dollhouse. 23. The Phantom Playground. In the dead of night, the sound of children's laughter could be heard echoing through the abandoned playground on the outskirts of town. Locals whispered of a ghostly presence that haunted the swings and slides, luring unsuspecting victims into its clutches. Despite the warnings, a group of teenagers decided to spend the night in the playground, eager to uncover the truth behind the rumors. But as they played on the swings, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Suddenly, the equipment began to move on its own, swinging back and forth with unnatural force. Terrified, the teenagers tried to run, but the playground seemed to stretch on forever, its twisted metal structures looming overhead like the bars of a prison. In the end, they were forced to confront the vengeful spirit that held them captive, their screams mingling with the ghostly laughter that echoed through the night.
24. The Haunted Mine. Deep beneath the earth, there lay an abandoned mine that held a darkness that few dared to explore. It was said that the mine was cursed, its tunnels haunted by the spirits of miners who had perished in accidents deep underground. Ignoring the warnings, a group of thrill-seekers ventured into the mine, eager to uncover its hidden treasures. But as they delved deeper into the darkness, they felt a sense of unease wash over them, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Strange noises echoed through the tunnels, and the air grew thick with the stench of death. Suddenly, the walls began to shake, and the entrance to the mine collapsed, trapping them inside with the restless spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the dark power that held them captive, their screams echoing through the tunnels as they became just another part of the mine's cursed history. 25. The Ghost Shipwreck. Along the rocky coastline, there lay a shipwreck that had been swallowed by the sea centuries ago. It was said that the ship was cursed, its ghostly crew doomed to wander the oceans for all eternity. Eager to uncover its secrets, a team of divers set out to explore the wreck, but as they descended into the depths, they felt a chill in the water, as if the very ocean itself was alive with malevolent energy. Strange shadows danced among the wreckage, and the divers reported feeling a sense of dread wash over them, as if they were being pulled deeper into the darkness. Suddenly, the wreck began to creak and groan, and the ghostly figure of a captain appeared before them, his hollow eyes staring out into the abyss. In the end, the divers were forced to confront the truth behind the ghost shipwreck, their screams swallowed by the unforgiving depths as they became just another part of its cursed history. 26. The Abandoned Orphanage. In a forgotten corner of the city, there stood an abandoned orphanage that held a darkness that few dared to acknowledge. It was said that the orphanage was haunted by the spirits of children who had perished within its walls, their restless souls trapped between the world of the living and the dead. Despite the warnings, a group of paranormal investigators set out to explore the orphanage, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they entered the building, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Shadows danced among the empty cribs, and the sound of children's laughter echoed through the halls, sending shivers down their spines. Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and the investigators reported feeling a sense of dread wash over them, as if the very building itself was alive with malevolent energy. In the end, they were forced to confront the truth behind the abandoned orphanage, their screams echoing through the halls as they became just another part of its cursed history. 27. The Haunted Forest Cabin. Deep in the woods, there stood a secluded cabin that had been abandoned for decades. It was said that the cabin was haunted by the spirits of those who had perished within its walls, their restless souls trapped in a never-ending cycle of torment. Ignoring the warnings, a group of hikers decided to spend the night in the cabin, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they settled in for the night, they heard strange noises coming from the surrounding forest, as if something was moving through the trees. Terrified, they locked the doors and windows, but the sounds grew louder, and the cabin began to shake as if it was being torn apart from the inside. Suddenly, the walls began to bleed, and the hikers reported feeling a sense of dread wash over them. 28. The Haunted Mansion. Perched atop a hill, there stood a grand mansion that had been abandoned for centuries. It was said that the mansion was cursed, its halls haunted by the spirits of its former inhabitants. Despite the warnings, a group of urban explorers ventured into the mansion, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they explored its decaying halls, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Shadows danced along the walls, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the empty rooms. Suddenly, the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the malevolent spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the dark power that held them captive, their screams echoing through the mansion as they became just another part of its cursed history. 29. The Phantom Hitchhiker Revisited. Along a deserted stretch of road, there roamed a phantom hitchhiker who preyed on unsuspecting travelers. Legend had it that the hitchhiker was a ghost doomed to wander the road in search of a ride home. Those who picked up the hitchhiker were met with silence, the figure disappearing without a trace as they reached their destination. But one night, a lone driver encountered the hitchhiker and offered them a ride. As they drove, the hitchhiker grew more and more agitated, their eyes filled with an otherworldly glow. Suddenly, the driver realized they were no longer alone in the car, their passengers' forms shifting and changing before their eyes. In a panic, they slammed on the brakes, only to find the car empty and the hitchhiker gone, leaving behind nothing but a lingering sense of dread. 30. The Haunted Doll Factory. Deep in the heart of the city, there stood an old doll factory that had been abandoned for decades. It was said that the factory was haunted by the spirits of its former workers, who had perished in a tragic accident years before. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of paranormal investigators set out to explore the factory, armed with cameras and EVP recorders. But as they ventured deeper into the building, they encountered strange phenomena, from flickering lights to ghostly apparitions that seemed to watch their every move. Suddenly, the dolls on the assembly line came to life, their glassy eyes following the investigators as they fled in terror. In the end, they were forced to confront the dark power that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned factory as they became just another part of its cursed history. 31. The Whispering Woods Revisited. Deep in the heart of the forest, there lay a grove of trees where the wind whispered secrets known only to the shadows. Legend had it that those who entered the grove would be driven mad by the incessant whispers, their minds consumed by thoughts of darkness and despair. Despite the warnings, a group of curious hikers ventured into the forest, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they wandered deeper into the grove, they felt a sense of unease wash over them, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The whispers grew louder, their voices echoing through the trees, filling the air with a sense of dread. Suddenly, the trees themselves came alive, their branches reaching out to ensnare the hikers in their grasp. In the end, they were forced to confront the dark power that held them captive, their screams lost in the cacophony of the whispering woods. 32 The Haunted Hotel Room. In a rundown hotel, there lay a room that had been sealed off from the rest of the building for years. It was said that the room was cursed, haunted by the spirit of a woman who had perished within its walls. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of skeptics booked a night in the hotel, determined to debunk the rumors once and for all. But as they entered the room, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Strange noises echoed through the walls, and the air grew thick with the stench of death. Suddenly, the room itself seemed to come alive, its walls pulsing and shifting as if they were alive. In a panic, the skeptics tried to flee, but the door slammed shut, trapping them inside with the vengeful spirit that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the truth behind the haunted hotel room, their screams echoing through the empty halls as they became just another part of its cursed history. 33 The Sinister Carnival Ride. At the annual carnival, there stood a ride that had been abandoned for years, its rusted gears creaking and groaning in the wind. It was said that the ride was cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who had perished on its twisted tracks. Despite the warnings, a group of thrill-seekers decided to ride the attraction, eager to experience its thrills for themselves. But as the ride started, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. The carnival lights flickered and died, and the ride itself seemed to come alive, its mechanical arms reaching out to ensnare the riders in their grasp. In a panic, they tried to escape, but the ride continued to spin faster and faster, its sinister laughter echoing through the night. In the end, they were forced to confront the dark power that held them captive, their screams lost in the cacophony of the carnival. 34 The Haunted Theater Revisited. In the heart of the city, there stood a grand theater that had been abandoned for years. It was said that the theater was haunted by the spirits of its former performers, who had perished in a tragic fire during a performance. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of amateur actors set out to explore the theater, determined to put on a play in its haunted halls. But as they rehearsed their lines, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Strange noises echoed through the theater, and the air grew thick with the stench of smoke. Suddenly, the stage itself seemed to come alive, its curtains billowing and twisting as if they were alive. In a panic, the actors tried to flee, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the vengeful spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the dark power that held them captive, their screams echoing through the empty theater as they became just another part of its cursed history. 35 The Haunted Mine Shaft. Deep underground, there lay a forgotten mine shaft that had been sealed off from the rest of the world for decades. It was said that the mine shaft was cursed, haunted by the spirits of miners who had perished in a tragic accident years before. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of explorers set out to explore the mine, determined to uncover its hidden treasures. But as they descended deeper into the darkness, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Strange noises echoed through the tunnels, and the air grew thick with the stench of decay. Suddenly, the walls themselves seemed to come alive, their rocky surfaces shifting and changing as if they were alive. In a panic, the explorers tried to flee, but the entrance collapsed, trapping them inside with the restless spirits that lurked within. 36 The Haunted Lighthouse. Standing tall on a desolate cliff, there loomed a lighthouse that had guided sailors for centuries. However, it was whispered among locals that the lighthouse was cursed, haunted by the spirit of a former keeper who had met a tragic end. One stormy night, a group of tourists decided to spend the night in the lighthouse, eager for a unique experience. As the wind howled and the waves crashed against the rocks, they heard strange noises echoing through the tower. Shadows danced on the walls, and the light flickered as if struggling against an unseen force. Suddenly, the stairs leading to the top vanished, leaving the tourists trapped inside with the vengeful spirit that roamed the halls. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that lurked within the lighthouse, their screams lost in the roar of the storm. 37 The Sinister Carnival Clown. At the heart of the carnival, there was a clown whose smile hid a dark secret. Legend had it that the clown was cursed, its painted face concealing the soul of a malevolent entity. Despite the warnings, children flocked to the carnival, eager to be entertained by the clown's antics. But as they watched the show, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being drawn into the clown's twisted world. The laughter turned to screams as the clown's face contorted into a grotesque mask of horror, its eyes burning with an otherworldly light. In a panic, the children tried to flee, but the carnival seemed to stretch on forever, its twisted attractions closing in around them. In the end, they were forced to confront the sinister power that held them captive, their screams echoing through the empty tents as they became just another part of the carnival's cursed history. 38 The Haunted Schoolhouse. In a forgotten corner of the town, there stood an old schoolhouse that had been abandoned for years. It was said that the schoolhouse was haunted by the spirits of former students who had met untimely ends within its walls. Ignoring the warnings, a group of teenagers decided to spend the night in the schoolhouse, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they explored its empty halls, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Shadows danced on the walls, and the sound of children's laughter echoed through the empty classrooms. Suddenly, the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the restless spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned schoolhouse as they became just another part of its cursed history. 39 The Phantom Train Station. Along a forgotten railway line, there stood an abandoned train station that had been swallowed by the forest. It was said that the station was haunted by the spirits of passengers who had perished in a tragic accident years before. Eager to uncover the truth, a group of urban explorers set out to explore the station, determined to uncover its hidden secrets. But as they ventured deeper into the darkness, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Strange noises echoed through the empty halls, and the air grew thick with the stench of decay. Suddenly, the trains themselves seemed to come alive, their engines roaring to life as they hurtled down the tracks. In a panic, the explorers tried to flee, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the restless spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned station as they became just another part of its cursed history. 40 The Haunted Doll Island. In the heart of the swamp, there lay an island that was home to a collection of dolls, each one more sinister than the last. It was said that the island was cursed, haunted by the spirits of children who had perished in the marshes. Despite the warnings, a group of thrill-seekers ventured onto the island, eager to uncover its secrets. But as they explored its eerie shores, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The dolls seemed to follow their every move, their glassy eyes filled with malice. Suddenly, the dolls came to life, their porcelain limbs moving with a life of their own as they closed in on the intruders. In a panic, the thrill-seekers tried to flee, but the swamp seemed to stretch on forever, its murky waters swallowing them whole. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams lost in the endless expanse of the haunted doll island. 41 The Haunted Music Box. In an antique shop, there sat a music box that had been passed down through generations. It was said that the music box was cursed, its haunting melody summoning spirits from the depths of the underworld. Ignoring the warnings, a curious collector purchased the music box, eager to unlock its secrets. But as they wound the key and the music began to play, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Shadows danced around the room, and the air grew thick with the scent of decay. Suddenly, the music box itself seemed to come alive, its delicate figurines moving with a life of their own as they danced to the haunting melody. In a panic, the collector tried to stop the music, but the melody only grew louder, filling the room with a sense of dread. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the empty shop as they became just another part of the music box's cursed history. 42 The Haunted Painting Gallery. In a forgotten mansion, there lay a gallery filled with paintings that held a dark secret. It was said that the paintings were cursed, haunted by the souls of those who had posed for them. Ignoring the warnings, a group of art enthusiasts ventured into the gallery, eager to uncover its hidden treasures. But as they admired the paintings, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The figures in the paintings seemed to move, their eyes following the intruders as they explored the room. Suddenly, the paintings themselves came to life, their subjects stepping out of their frames and into the real world. In a panic, the art enthusiasts tried to flee, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the vengeful spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned mansion as they became just another part of its cursed history. 43 The Sinister Puppet Show. At the annual fair, there was a puppet show that had been entertaining children for generations. However, it was whispered among the locals that the puppeteer was cursed, his marionettes holding a dark power over their audience. Despite the warnings, families flocked to the fair, eager to see the puppet show for themselves. But as the puppets danced on their strings, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being drawn into the show itself. The laughter turned to screams as the puppets' eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, their strings twisting and contorting as if they. 44 The haunted mirror. In an old mansion, there hung a grand mirror that had been passed down through generations. It was said that the mirror was cursed, reflecting not just the image of the viewer but also their deepest fears and darkest desires. Despite the warnings, a curious guest stayed in the mansion and became fixated on the mirror. Night after night, they stared into its depths, unable to tear themselves away. But as they gazed into the mirror, they saw twisted visions of their own demise, their reflection morphing into a grotesque mockery of their true self. In a panic, they tried to shatter the mirror, but it seemed to be unbreakable, its surface as solid as stone. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that lurked within the mirror, their screams echoing through the empty halls of the mansion as they became just another victim of its cursed reflection. 45 The sinister carnival fortune teller. At the carnival, there sat a fortune teller whose predictions were said to be cursed. Despite the warnings, curious visitors lined up to have their fortunes told, eager to glimpse into the future. But as they entered the fortune teller's tent, they felt a chill in the air, as if they had stepped into another world entirely. The fortune teller's eyes glowed with an otherworldly light as they spoke of tragedy and despair, their words sending shivers down the spines of those who dared to listen. Suddenly, the tent itself seemed to come alive, its fabric twisting and contorting as if it were alive. In a panic, the visitors tried to flee, but the entrance vanished before their eyes, leaving them trapped inside with the sinister fortune teller. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams lost in the endless expanse of the carnival. 46 The haunted bookstore. In a forgotten corner of the city, there stood an old bookstore that held a dark secret. It was said that the bookstore was haunted by the spirits of its former owners, who had perished under mysterious circumstances. Despite the warnings, a group of book lovers decided to explore the store, eager to uncover its hidden treasures. But as they wandered through the aisles, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Shadows danced among the shelves, and the sound of whispering filled the room. Suddenly, the books themselves seemed to come alive, their pages flipping open to reveal sinister passages written in an unknown language. In a panic, the book lovers tried to flee, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the vengeful spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned bookstore as they became just another part of its cursed history. 47 The sinister circus performer. At the traveling circus, there was a performer whose act was said to be cursed. Despite the warnings, crowds gathered to watch the performer's death-defying stunts, eager to witness the spectacle for themselves. But as the performer stepped into the spotlight, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being drawn into the show itself. The crowd watched in horror as the performer's act took a dark turn, their movements becoming more and more erratic with each passing moment. Suddenly, the tent itself seemed to come alive, its fabric twisting and contorting as if it were alive. In a panic, the audience tried to flee, but the entrance vanished before their eyes, leaving them trapped inside with the sinister performer. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams lost in the cacophony of the circus. 48 The haunted carnival funhouse. At the carnival, there stood a funhouse that had been abandoned for years. It was said that the funhouse was haunted by the spirits of those who had perished on its twisted attractions. Despite the warnings, a group of thrill seekers decided to explore the funhouse, eager to experience its thrills for themselves. But as they wandered through its halls, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Shadows danced on the walls, and the sound of sinister laughter echoed through the empty corridors. Suddenly, the funhouse itself seemed to come alive, its attractions moving with a life of their own as they closed in on the intruders. In a panic, the thrill seekers tried to flee, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the restless spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned funhouse as they became just another part of its cursed history. 49 The sinister puppet master. In a forgotten theater, there lived a puppet master whose shows were said to be cursed. Despite the warnings, audiences flocked to watch the puppet master's performances, eager to be entertained by his macabre creations. But as the puppets danced on their strings, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were being drawn into the show itself. The audience watched in horror as the puppets' movements became more and more erratic, their strings twisting and contorting as if they were alive. Suddenly, the theater itself seemed to come alive, its walls pulsing and shifting as if they were alive. In a panic, the audience tried to flee, but the doors slammed shut, trapping them inside with the sinister puppet master. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams lost in the cacophony of the theater. 50 The haunted carnival Ferris wheel. At the carnival, there stood a Ferris wheel that had been abandoned for years. It was said that the Ferris wheel was haunted by the spirits of those who had perished on its creaky seats. Despite the warnings, a group of thrill-seekers decided to ride the Ferris wheel, eager to experience its thrills for themselves. But as they ascended into the air, they felt a chill in the air, as if they were not alone. Shadows danced on the seats, and the sound of sinister laughter echoed through the empty carriages. Suddenly, the Ferris wheel itself seemed to come alive, its rusty gears grinding and groaning as it spun faster and faster. In a panic, the thrill-seekers tried to flee, but the wheel continued to spin, its passengers trapped inside with the restless spirits that lurked within. In the end, they were forced to confront the darkness that held them captive, their screams echoing through the abandoned carnival as they became just another part of its cursed history.